Thanks to the support as a channel member, Andrew McRobbie. Right, we survived the transfer window. Sort of. It remains to be seen what the goalkeeping situation is going to be like this year. And we're picking up frustrating injuries in key positions as well. We need a couple of big wins to really get this season up and running. Hello and welcome to Club 5, part 19 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have it's not actually our first two league games of the season because we played Empoli so that we could do the transfer deadline day yesterday. But we're playing Fiorentina and Genoa in two important games at the start of the season. And for important games, we're, of course, picking up significant injuries, or injuries to significant players, I should say. They're hopefully not injuries that are going to keep players out for too long, but our only right-footed centre-back, this was bound to happen. Bless him, at 34 years old, he's got blisters, so he's not going to be able to play today. He's played 426 league games in his career, 127 internationals, probably another 100 or so European games. So what's that? We're looking at 650 career appearances. That's just as a professional. Obviously, with all that youth football, this guy's played well over 1,000 games of football in his life, trained every day for the last, 30 years, 25 years? Now he's got blisters that keep him out of a match. I mean, get a different pair of boots, for goodness sake. But he's not going to be able to play. But also William Bilger, who missed most of the World Cup with an injury, has now played the first game of the season and pulled his hamstring. So he is he's missing this as well. So I hope he's not becoming injury prone. I mean, the injury he got at the World Cup was a twisted ankle. It's now pulled hamstring. They're not major injuries, but they're back to back, and that's always a little bit of a problem, especially with such a great young player. So those two are going to be missing today, which means the team is taking a slightly different shape. Oh yeah, and Vlahovic was injured between the two matches as well, but is now fit again. But we're not risking him because of the injury to Bilger and Champions League on the horizon. So Benoit plays in goal. This is the first time you'll see him, only his second appearance, getting to play because of the sale of Secco. And I've promised him we're going to win the Champions League. It'll be fine. Mansoray, Valente, Taglioli, who we signed to be Boattini's backup, but he is an accomplished centre-back and right-footed, so he's going to play at centre-back alongside Valente, and then Agostini at right-back. Boattini, Veloso dos Santos, and Gervasio in midfield. Gervasio is now our new vice-captain. And was playing for Italy in the World Cup, so we need to give him more game time this year, which should be easier as we've let some of our midfielders go. We're then going Fabrice on the left, Lazrak on the right, and Amgar is going to play up front, who we've signed to play left-back. He is now a natural left-back, having played there enough times for us to be considered a natural left-back, but he's also a natural centre-forward. He was playing for France in the World Cup on the left-hand side of midfield, where he's also natural. But, I mean, he's got all the attributes you need to be a striker, apart from finishing. But we know finishing doesn't really matter. And the key thing is he's very quick. And being very quick is often all you need to play centre forward. We played him there at the end of last season, and he scored. So we're in the absence of Bilger and Vlahovic. He's playing there again today, and we're going to see how he is as a striker. This could end up being one of the stranger developments in my transfer policy over the years. A player I've genuinely signed to be our left back might be about to establish himself as a striker for us. If he comes on, if he scores a hat-trick today, then we're going to have decisions to make going forward, aren't we? Fabrice plays it across, looking for Lazrak. Lazrak, of course, fresh off of being voted best player at the World Cup. So Lazrak is in great form as well. And could also have a shout for playing at centre forward. But then we'd have Ruiz, I guess, would have to come in on the right-hand side, or Gratakos on the right-hand side, because Amgar can't play right wing, even though he can play right back. And it's going to be Taglioli on his first start for the club, taking the penalty. I don't remember telling him he was our penalty taker, but apparently he doesn't need telling, and he has scored. And that's going to be a nice little way to endear yourself to the Juventus faithful upon arriving at the club. You've come in as a midfielder, you're playing centre-back, and you've scored on your debut. Lovely, lovely stuff. 1-0. Fiorentina were top of the league going into this match. They won by a larger margin than they didn't, actually. Their goal difference is only 1. I don't know why they were top of the league and we weren't. Alphabetical order, maybe? Because goal difference doesn't make a difference in Italy. I think it goes to head, so presumably they actually were top of the league on on alphabetical order, and now we've gone ahead against them. Obviously, we're ahead of them on points as well, but we would now be ahead of them on the head-to-head, and Taglioli has scored again. Are we seeing the birth of a new hero? It was all eyes on Amgar playing at centre-forward today, but Taglioli playing at centre-back. He is 6'2", so that is the correct height. As a 6'2" man myself, I've said many times 6'2" is normal height. Anyone taller than that is very tall, arguably too tall. Anyone shorter than that is very short, definitely too short. So he is the correct height. So he should be a threat from these set pieces, and he's proved there that he is. He's got a penalty. He's got a header from the edge of the area from a set piece. Can he grab himself the hat-trick? I mean, what does that mean for Amgar? We said if Amgar gets a hat-trick, he gets to play as centre-forward from now on. If Taglioli gets a hat-trick, I don't know the consequences of that. Amgar, with his first touch as part of a highlight, it ends up with Amgar's been played through again, by Fabrice, and he was one-on-one with the keeper, and there was that slightly lower than needed finishing that has led to it being a corner. But a corner, of course, means another opportunity for Taglioli. Gervasio with the cross, and he was looking for him, but couldn't find him, and now Lazrak is having to do some chasing back, and he's done a very good job of it, actually. Wins the ball back, snuffs out the counter-attack for Fiorentina, and with that, the highlight is also snuffed. 2-0 with most of this second half still to go. I still want to see more out of Amgar, else he's just going to be banished back to left-back forever. Lazrak then, on the right-hand side, plays it back to Agostini. Agostini to Gervasio. Talking of big boys, we all know Gervasio has got plenty of body. 6'4", 6'5", vice captain, 26 years old now, but still consider him a promising youngster. And he's basically being kept around because of how big he is. And he's proving that perhaps I should be giving him more of an opportunity in the team than I have done so far. He's a player who actually did score a hat-trick for us last year, playing in this Mezzala role. So he has performed well when he's had the opportunity to play here. And with Baturina leaving, Locatelli retiring, Szoboszlai potentially dropping down the pecking order as he gets older as well. And there's going to be more opportunity for Gervasio this year to finally properly establish himself. Right, we are going to put Amgar back to left back, and we're going to put Vlahovic on up front. He can certainly manage 20 minutes as part of his recovery from injury. And we're also going to give Luka Genkinga his debut, the new centre-back who we brought in for £30 million, and he's probably a bit miffed seeing Taglioli start ahead of him, but he's another left footer. We've got so many left footers, and we actually are going to take Amgar off as well, and bring on the other new left back, Mendes, who is, I don't think he's yet considered natural at left back. He was a natural wing back, but it shouldn't take him too long, certainly with playing time, to be considered a natural left back as well. I don't really understand how that works in Football Manager. It never used to work this way. You shouldn't be able to train yourself into being natural at something, but apparently you can. Agostini then, trying to generate a chance. Now he's got Vlahovic in the middle. Should be a little bit more prolific in there, although to be fair, we're 3-0 up against one of the better teams in the league, so we've been pretty prolific as is. And now Boatini needs to come off, so that's an opportunity for Lebagang Fury to come on. He is a playmaker, so that means Veloso dos Santos switches to box-to-box midfielder. He thought those days were over when Locatelli left, and in fact, he's not going to have to do it because we're going to bring on Gratakos to play in that role. Gervasio will move back over, and it means we get to have a little look at Fury as well at the base of the midfield. So lots of our new faces, bargain purchases. We've had a different kind of transfer policy at Juventus this summer as we continue to fix the financial issues. It's what the board wanted, and it's what we've been doing. And now Agostini to Gervasio, ball over the top to Vlahovic, who hasn't scored for us yet this season, except he now has, except maybe he hasn't, because the referee's got his finger in his ear, and this might be about to be disallowed. It looked good to me, but I am somewhat biased when it comes to Vlahovic and scoring goals, and it has been given. The referee knows what side his bread is buttered, and apparently Vlahovic has scored already this season, because that was his second goal. Did he score in the last match? I thought he was... No, he wasn't injured for the last match. Maybe he did score. He was injured between the matches, like a stubbed toe or something. It was something stupid, a cold, something that keeps you out for like 2 days. Probably could have started him, and he looked sharp when he came on as well, which is good to see. So we've learned there that Amgar doesn't really offer very much as a centre forward. Everyone now goes away for international duty. He'll probably score a hat-trick for France, and I'll end up starting him at striker again in the next match, because I'm I've now decided I'm going to make it work somehow. But we are going to let international stuff happen, and then we'll be back for Genoa. Well, just to mess with me, over the international break, Amgar picked up an injury. He's going to be out for the next month or so with a twisted ankle. He's now the only injury in the squad, apart from Owning, who is recovering enough to be on the bench. So much changes. Sotalo gets to come in at the back, which pushes Taglioli forward to play as the defensive midfielder. I figured after scoring 2 goals, it would be harsh to drop him entirely. Mendes is going to come in and get a start. At left back, we're going with Gratakos in midfield alongside Veloso dos Santos. Bilga comes back in on the right, Vlahovic up front. And let's have a look to see how this mixture of players performs. Really, I'm looking at the midfield. The midfield is where we've made the most changes this season. Obviously, we want to keep an eye on left back as well, where we've got the new boy Mendes, who I think is now considered natural at left back. He wasn't for the last match. He now is. So quite a lot of competition for places at left back now, which does lead to Amgar potentially being used a little bit further forward when he's fit again. Maybe we'll train him to play on the wing. Ideally, the right wing. He's a left footer. If we could go long term and have Amgar on the right cutting in and Bilga in the middle when Vlahovic is done, that might work better than having Amgar up front or having him on the left as a winger. We'll see how he copes with being asked to do that. He could already play in all of the other positions, so I don't know if that means he's going to be easier to retrain or just not be able to cope with having another position added to his already lengthy list of options. But this is the first time we've used Taglioli from the start at defensive midfield as well, so we're keeping an eye on how he gets on there. And of course, Gratakos in midfield is really battling with Gervasio for that starting spot as the Mazzala alongside Veloso dos Santos, who's pretty much nailed on. For as long as we're going to play with a playmaker in central midfield, it's going to be Veloso dos Santos. And it's really just deciding the combination of players that we use around him. It's been a slow start for this game against a team who are down in the relegation zone, which is not ideal. Agostini gets the ball clear and Taglioli now trying to get a counter-attack up and running. It's a very heavy overhit pass that Veloso dos Santos can't chase, and it just gives it back to Genoa again, who are looking to build up another attack. But Bilga wins the ball back, and Bilga, you haven't seen any of Bilga yet this season. He's still wonderful. There's the pass over the top for Fabris, and there is the goal. It's an assist for Bilga. It's a goal for Fabris. It's 1-0 to Juventus, and that is exactly what we were looking for. It's also important to note as well that we've not seen any howlers from Benoit yet. Even when Secco first arrived, we had some moments from Secco early on. So there were a few people when we signed Benoit last summer who were suggesting that he might be a better option than Secco long term. So we might have fallen on our feet a little bit here with Secco moving on, allowing Benoit into the team. And then, of course, we've got Maddison there as an English wonder kid who's already played once for England, who can come through in the long term when we inevitably have to sell Benoit as well. That is just Sotalo remembering that the camera is on and doing what he does when the camera is on. So it's clearly not just a big game thing. He knows when the camera is on. There must be some kind of sensor that he's got access to, because we're playing against the team that are bottom of the league. This is by no means what you would consider a big game, and he doesn't score every match, just every match that you lot are watching. It's ridiculous. We've got another corner here. It's going to be Fabris to take, and Sotalo is going to be lurking again, I'm sure. It's actually Valente this time. He gets onto the end of it, and he's scored his first goal as a permanent Juventus player. I mean, he got like 15 goals last season when he was here on loan. But having joined permanently in the summer, that's his first goal. It's 3-0. We're proving once again in this episode that we're really quite good at these set pieces. Vlahovic has been quiet again. But I'm not too worried about it when everyone around him is scoring the way they are today. There's Gratakos. It's back to Veloso dos Santos, and his effort goes over. But it was a decent move, and he probably should be looking to do a little bit better there. Look at our goal difference compared to everybody else in this league. I don't think we're going to focus too much on Serie A this season. We've got got all those big Champions League games coming up against Premier League opposition. So I think we're probably going to be all in focus on winning the Champions League this year and just assuming that Serie A is going to take care of itself unless results at some point suggest otherwise. But it is a penalty. Is it going to be Taglioli to take again? It's not. Vlahovic takes back over as penalty taker. Now he's on the pitch. I haven't touched my penalty takers list since I arrived, I don't think. It's probably something I need to work on. And Taglioli might be looking at him there thinking, oh, you know, I've got a 100% record with mine. You've missed yours, you silly goose. Fabris with the corner, looking for the far post this time where Valente is lurking, and it comes to Bilger on the edge of the area. I mean, he could have popped that in the top corner from there. I'm not really sure why he took the coward's way out. But Agostini has picked up a knock, so we can take him off. Maggioni, who did manage to stay at the club after interest from various Premier League clubs. And we're also going to bring on Kolarich, who, of course, is another right-footed defender. So we said the only one we had was Sotalo. We have got Kolarich. So he's probably going to get game time this year as a first substitute on the right-hand side of that defence. And we're also going to bring on Ruiz for Bilger, who, of course, is recovering from an injury. We want to keep him wrapped in cotton wool. He's our key player. Let's not let him pick up any more injuries, please and thank you. Vlahovic then plays it forward to Bilger, who's still on the pitch, trying to play Gratakos through. It was a nice idea, but Gratakos was never going to get the right side of the defender there. I don't think he was expecting the pass. And Mendes doing a good job just tidying things up at the back. And now it's with Mendes again, who looks like he has got a hairband on. Hairband players, usually very good, so that's a good sign. Bilger gives the ball away. Yeah, it's time for Bilger to come off. Can we make these substitutions, please? Both Agostini and Bilger need to be coming off just to protect them. I don't want to be picking up any injuries at this stage of the game. They are in there, and that is, I mean, Benoit just was stood there like a statue. That's the first indication that maybe he's not quite the same shot stopper that we had with Seko. Let's have a look at it from the other angle. We're not going to get too harsh on him just yet, but he really doesn't move for this at all. It's a first-time effort, and he's not even got his shorts dirty, which isn't really acceptable. They've had one shot on target and scored. We wouldn't have conceded any more goals if I was playing in goal, which is an alarming thing to be able to say. Right, can we re-establish a 3-goal lead here, please? Whilst also having a look at some of these players who've just come off the bench, Ruiz in particular, I'm keen to keep an eye on my long-term plans. We were just talking about Amgar as a potential on the right-hand side. So if Ruiz is going to be part of the long-term plans, he really needs to force his way in this season. And they've very nearly scored again. They've hit the post there. And once again, Benoit did not look like he knew what was going on. I think I may have spoken a little bit too soon. Madison might be getting a look in a little sooner than expected. Vlahovic on the edge of the area. Plays it all the way back to Valente. It was actually a risky pass because the attacker was there. But there's the ball over the top to Gratakos, and now Vlahovic. And that should have been a goal. That would have been a goal previously. Has he lost his magic? He has got a goal a game this season leading into this one, so probably not. Mendes is looking very good, though, at left-back. We might have finally found our out-and-out proper left-back who can defend, which it's been a while. But that's going to probably be more a difference maker than anything else. If we have him allowing Mansouri to play at centre-back, that could be a big positive. Right, Vlahovic has been rubbish today, and we're going to bring Lazrak on for him, and then Veloso dos Santos has been running around on a yellow card for ages. So let's bring Firi on. We're going to drop him back to play as the playmaker just there, and Taglioli is going to come further forward and play as the box-to-box midfielder for the final 10 minutes. I think that's the 4th position we've played Taglioli in this season already, and it's only the 3rd game. We played him, I think he came on at right back in the first match. So we're definitely gonna get our money's worth out of him, playing him in all of the positions. But that's 2 wins today, 2 big, important wins. Now, for the rest of the season, the focus is on Champions League. We want to win the Champions League. And goodness me, have we got some tough Champions League games coming up over the next few episodes. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.